I see warning signs in Europe, and you need to be quite aware of them. The biggest three of them are extremists reaching high political positions, England leaving the European Union, and the discussion about closing borders among European countries. You need to pay attention to those signs. You can do something about them. You have to stop what is happening. Border is a word which means drawing a line to mark the end of something or to separate two different things or more from each other. Border can also mean borders between countries or metaphorical borders among people. We need to keep our actual and metaphorical borders open. I live in Germany now, and I don't want Europe to go through the same suffering, the same grief, and the same sadness that we have went through in Syria. During the first 23 years of my life, I have traveled a lot within Syria itself. I could travel easily, and all I needed to cross the borders to Turkey or to Lebanon was my ID card. However, this situation has changed when the war started in Syria in April 2011. Checkpoints started appearing on the road. I was traveling to Damascus, Syria's capital, and there were no less than 25 checkpoints on the road. And by each checkpoint, they would collect ID cards, and then they would ask young men out of the bus to enter their name into a computer to check if they were wanted for any criminal registry or any other reason. Of course, no fool would go on the bus knowing about the 25 checkpoints and knowing also that he has anything on his registry. But you see, everything has started in Syria by drawing borders and taking sides. Checkpoints started appearing on the road between the cities in Syria when the war started. But then the same thing started happening within the same city. I lived in Aleppo, and starting June 2012, checkpoints started appearing. Aleppo was divided into two sides, eastern side and the western side. The eastern side was occupied by the Free Army, and the western side was occupied by the regime. And whenever you wanted to go around the city, you would face the same problem of checkpoints and ID cards, especially young men. And they would not be able to get out of it without knowing the people who are standing on the checkpoint itself or by a packet of cigarettes. Now, I'm going to tell you a personal story about the impact of borders on me and my family. So please, come with me to August 2015. I'm traveling to Lebanon with my parents and my youngest brother, Muhammad. We are standing on the borders. Suddenly, officers come. They take my brother Muhammad and they put him in prison. They say that he has to serve military. We all know that this is nonsense. He's a student, and he has his military duty postponed. But you see, there was no internet in Aleppo in 2015, so his postponed did not reach the borders. They make a mistake based on a communication failure. My mother and I are standing on the borders, crying and on the edge of collapsing. We know that if Muhammad went to serve military, it would be his death sentence. Serving military at that time meant that soldiers would stand in front of ISIS and al-Nusra fighters. So, after 20 minutes, a merciful officer comes to us and he says that he's going to let Muhammad go under the condition that we travel we traveled directly back to Damascus to get a paper that says that he is really a student and he has his military duty postponed. We did that. And Muhammad and my mother are sitting here with us on the train today. But that was the end of it for me. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. We finally decided to leave Syria. Have you ever been checked on any border before? Now imagine the same thing happening in your country. Imagine this thing happening here in Europe. People trying to get to Germany from Netherlands, or vice versa. Officers standing on the borders, putting your young men under a microscope. Today, we are crossing the borders from Netherlands to Germany without even realizing it. Europe's borders are close to non-existent. It's just like living in one big united land with different areas' names. Europe's borders are open, and they should stay open. People also need to be open. I'm an Arab and a Muslim. I'm different and I'm a stranger in the German society. I have met great people here who do not label me. They just embrace me and help me starting my new life here in Germany. They are curious to know everything about me, about my background, my family, my offspring, my culture. If each group of people tried to build its own island, that would be dangerous. If each group with different political views, different nationalities, different religious beliefs, and different whatever, if each group of those people lived separately, that would divide the land in a tedious manner. That's why we need to improve the concept of tolerance, accept the concept of otherness, and embrace the difference. Naturally, you're afraid of everything that is different. Not because you don't like it, but just because you don't know what it is. And there is an easy way to achieve knowledge. It's free, it costs absolutely nothing, but a little bit of your time and openness to get to know other people from different cultures and different backgrounds. So in order to overcome your fears, you need to educate yourselves. Education is the key. It's easy. I will give you 2 examples. I live in Ochtrup, and I have met there a wonderful woman called Bettina Flug. She organizes something called International Cafe, which happens every first Saturday of every month. On this day, refugees and German people come together. We sit, we talk, we drink coffee together, we open a topic for a discussion, or we organize something to do together. The thing that we are organizing at the moment is a fest of cultures in which we are going to celebrate our traditional Shuka fest on the 2nd of July. Arabs are going to bring food, traditional food that we usually cook in our traditional fest. And Germans who are going to attend will have the chance to know a little bit more about our culture and about our tradition. The second example is the event that happens on the 2nd Saturday of every month, in which a couple called Janina and Sebastian, along with Bettina, they borrow games from the library, and also people can bring a game they would like to play. So we sit all together in a neutral environment in which 1 word or 2 might come up or none, according to the person who's sitting in front of you. As I have said, it's a neutral environment, so no obligation, no restrictions, just people sharing their love of games. It's all about no borders. Taking into consideration meeting new people, Think about the doors that these opportunities and these chances open. They are huge and magnificent. The world needs to learn from its mistakes. So please, let's keep our minds, our hearts, and our borders open. Thank you.